According to some sources, hip-hop's origins can be traced back to the Mesozoic era, but it didn't become mainstream until the Egyptians released a beta version of GarageBand. But as the years went on, its popularity slowly decreased until it hit a new low, which we call the Cold War. This slack and fire lyrics was finally brought to an end when a small Russian boy named Roman, also known as NFKRZ,
little freak is there,
released his single, Can't Touch My Swag. And while that track was straight fire, there's a couple other things that are going on here that I'd like to talk about. But let's take a real quick look at the lyrical high points in this track. Now at the beginning of this track, he says how he's going to get some Doritos and some Mountain Dew and wreck some scrubs and call it booty too. Now note there he didn't say duty and said booty. And I could see how you could misinterpret this as a bit of a toilet joke, but I think that would be underselling him a bit. I think what he was trying to go for was that this was the last good game in the franchise before it went down the toilet. And later in the song, he talks about this crazy night he was having, but he says he was actually just kidding and that he was just at home. I would love to keep talking about the lyrical content of this song, but I really need to cough. Now what Roman did, compared to other artists, he brought hip-hop back to the people. Before that, it was very limited by the government. The government had a large influence on what was popular, and so they could create this feedback loop of people just making similar things. But Roman broke away from this. His production value was objectively terrible, but it's done this way on purpose, so that way it seems achievable by the average person. And in a similar vein, he raps over somebody else's beat, which gives a I could probably do this too quality. And so what Roman and other similar artists did was they allowed people to make music without fear of being judged, because they could always point to these guys and be like, well, at least my music is better than this. And so while we sit here and laugh at how seemingly stupid all these artists seem to be, the only reason that those other artists are so great is because they're standing on the backs of those who are willing to get down in the dirt.
Stating that he misconstrued the cello as a woodwind instrument and thought it was a flute because Squidward plays the flute, except Squidward plays the clarinet.